Okay, today we're going to talk about finding the slope of a line. Slope is the rate of change between 2 points on a line, and it measures the steepness of the line. To find the slope of a line, you need 2 points. Here we have a function that's graphed and 2 points are shown. You can use any 2 points that are on the straight line. We're going to use 0, 0, and 5, 2. Over here, I've written the ordered pairs out, and underneath them, I noted which was x and which was y. But notice I have a little number 1 on the bottom here and 2 on the bottom here. That's to distinguish between which x I'm talking about. Is it the x in the first ordered pair or the second ordered pair? So this is always going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. Now I said that slope was the rate of change in y and x. So I've written that up here. Slope is the change in y over the change in x. So our formula is y2 minus y1, because that's going to give us the change in our y points, over x2 minus x1, because that will give us the change in the x points. So now all you need to do is plug in your values that you have here. So our y is 0 and 2, but remember we're starting with y2 first. So I have 2 minus 0. And then on the bottom we have x2 minus x1. So I can go ahead and put in. And we have 5 minus 0. So if we simplify this, we'll get our slope equals 2/5. Or 2 over 5. You may have also heard slope be referred to as rise over run, and that's the same exact thing. Rise is how far it's going up, and run is on the bottom, how far it's going over. And that's the same thing as change in y over change in x. So if I write our slope for this line, we solved it, and it was 2/5. So if I look at rise is 2, that means I move up 2 points, and then run is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that brings me right to this point, 5, 2, which is on our line. Okay, let's practice and find the slope of this line. First, let's write out our equation. So slope equals change in y over change in x. On the bottom over here, I'm going to write out my 2 points and identify them as x1, y1, and x2, y2. Now I can go ahead and plug my values in to my equation. So slope equals y2 is 6 minus y1 is 3 over x2 is 2, and x1 is 1. So if I solve that, I get 3 over 1 as my slope. Now remember that slope equals rise over run, and that is 3 over 1. So we just solve for that. Now if I go over to my graph where I want to make sure that my slope is accurate, but also find some more points on this line. So just before we start, notice the x-axis increases by 1, but the y-axis actually increases by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and make little tick marks to show where it's increasing by 1. Okay, so if we start at 0, our rise is 3, so 1, 2, 3, and our run is 1. That brings us to our first point, 1, 3. Now if I go up again, I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Go up 3 from that point. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. I'm at my next point, 2, 6. Now let's find a third point on the line. So from where we left off, we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And now we have a third point, which is 3, 9. And you can see just by looking at the points that our x's increase each time by 1, which is the change in x, and our y's increase each time by 3. Okay, some things to remember. Slope tells you the steepness of a line. To find the slope, it is change in y over change in x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And another way you can refer to slope is rise over run. Here you're on your own questions. For each question, you need to find the slope. The first one I have just given you 2 points, and the second question you have a graph to look at to find your 2 points.